So if you clicked on this video, you're probably studying or practicing architecture, and you probably have come to realization that the architecture might not be the right path for you. You might be fed up with it, you might be burned out, or you might just be feeling that, you know what, it doesn't pay that much. So you're looking for the alternative path. And this is specifically why I decided to make this video, to look at the alternative careers for architects. To be honest, there isn't really a limit to what you can do if you really set your mind to it. So if there's a deep interest that you have in some specific area like science, technology, I suggest you to start there to explore your interests further. But I suspect that for most of us, it isn't really clear as to which industry to jump on, and there's usually just this feeling that the change is due. And I suspect that comes from the architectural education that we receive, which is a bit of a double-edged sword, because on one hand we have this amazing skill set in various domains across different industries and disciplines. But on the other hand, because we're generalists, we don't have that specific knowledge in each of those areas that we know. So we know a little bit about everything, but we're not really specialists in any of those fields. And I think this is problematic because each and every of us chose architecture for different things, and each of us had different expectations and different ways we were taught in the university. And so when it comes to choosing alternative career paths, I would suggest to first look at the niching down, because the problem might not be in the architecture itself, it's the architectural direction that you've picked. So I, for example, started architecture in the conservation architectural area, and I enjoyed that work, but I've always felt that something was missing from that. And when I finally decided to switch to a new build and finally to laboratory and office typologies that I'm currently working on, things have changed for me a little bit since then. And so by going through that change, I was able to get that excitement back and that passion back. And for you, maybe it's worthwhile exploring different areas of architecture. Like there's passive house, there's a lot of environmental stuff that's going on around these days. There's also domestic expertise that you can get, or even the conservation area that wasn't the right fit for me, but maybe is the right fit for you. So the other area you might be interested in exploring is other disciplines of design. This is particularly interesting for those of us who are enjoying design process and who like the problem solving and the practical aspect of design. But when it comes specifically to architecture, perhaps we don't like the fact that the buildings take so long to build, and perhaps we also don't like the fact that we actually are not the people who are building the buildings. Like we don't get to create our creations, somebody else does. So if you fall into that area, then fear not, because there's plenty of choice. There's all sorts of design disciplines you can get into, like product design and UX in the digital area, and you can also get into fields like interior design, product design, graphic design. There's really no limit to what kind of design disciplines you can get into. And the beauty of getting into other design disciplines is that you still get to use those things that you learned in architecture that are mainly to do with problem solving and the human-centric approach into coming up with different ideas and proposals. So the next area you can explore is BIM. So BIM in architectural industry is all over. Like it's being implemented over many years, and I think we finally got to the place where there's no escape from it. Problem is that BIM programs are not that easy to learn, and people might not have enthusiasm, they might not have time, or they might not have energy to learn BIM programs. Everybody knows basics of how to use Revit, for example, but not everybody is going to be expert in that. And so if you are somebody who is passionate and know the program throughout, I think this is a great opportunity for you, especially if on top of that you also have some scripting knowledge and capabilities to then be able to optimize some of the inefficient processes in the office. So if you're into computers and you like 3D modeling and you are generally interested in improving the process and workflows, this might be an interesting opportunity for you. Now, next up is the project management. So project managers are a bit like football coaches. They have a team that they have to manage and lead towards the outcome. Obviously, in this analogy, football players are engineers and architects and other stakeholders involved into design process who all play together to achieve the same goal, which is delivering building. So project managers have to have an understanding of the total construction process, of how other disciplines work, what's involved in the construction, and also have great organization and time management skills, as well as communication and listening skills. Now, this is not something I personally looked into at any point of my career, and the reason is quite simple, is because I'm quite introverted. But I do think that this sort of role is suitable for somebody who is very extroverted and like hanging out with people and perhaps doesn't like the mundane routine of the quiet architectural office. So if you're somebody who likes communicating with other people, working in a team and exchanging conversations and having meetings, then this is a great opportunity for you. And then my personal favorite is the freelancing. This is suitable for those of us who are really not that great with taking directions from other people. Like if you're somebody who would like to work to their own schedule, independent of somebody else telling you how to work and what to do, then freelancing might be a great pathway for you. In this day and age, there's almost endless opportunities of the kind of stuff you can be doing. There are websites like Upwork, Fiverr, and all sorts of other websites as well, where you can potentially advertise your services to get traction and get clients. And really, pretty much any skill can be used to generate income. So if the freelancing sounds interesting, then an obvious way to get into it is by exploiting your own strengths, like if you're good at writing or taking pictures or making visuals, because those are the type of things that other people will be willing to pay you money for. So it's really about trying to get that one thing that you're really good at and trying to turn that into a paid gig. And if you like this video, you might also enjoy this other video that I made on how to pick alternative career in architecture to give you even more ideas as to what you can do. So I hope you like this video, and I will see you in the next one.